Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna say what I got out of that because one, I got too many windows open, and it's time to shut it down. Um, I want to say this. I been discovering over and over in certain situations, especially topics like this, that it's a system out there that's trying to tell us how to think, how to react to certain things. This whole sex sale is just to tempt you into getting something that may or may not destroy you. And I'm finding out that some of this is destroying us, because people have certain triggers that when they're trying to make a change in their life, it's kind of hard for them because certain triggers still bother them and they still fall into the temptation of being very promiscuous. And they spending their money on being promiscuous. And then some of us may regret it later. Or this is something you enjoy. But you do have a say so, whether that's your decision or were you enticed to do something because of what you saw, if that makes sense. So I was looking through it after I had read that, the sex sale and all of that. Then they got to talking about the celebrities, how they're on different magazines half naked, and why that shouldn't be the only way to sell products and things like that. That was the whole, I think that was the whole goal in the first place. I mean, if you're doubting it now, why didn't you doubt it when you thought about it? I mean, if you knew it worked, then that's the reason why you're still doing it, because it still works. I mean, it's bringing in revenue. And in this day and age, from what I experience, most people are about money, what sells, what's going to get the results that I need. I mean, everybody's on that, from little, medium to large, you know what I mean? So I came across this article on my Twitter. It's called The Death of Freedom, the Free Press. And it reads, for anyone who really believes the stuff they are watching on the news about the political race, I'm reposting this. Freedom's future is at stake. Those who wish to control the behavior of the masses will control the press. It's called propaganda. William L. Shire wrote in The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, America may be the first country in which fascism comes to power through democratic elections. End quote. Whoever believed that a nation that was founded on free speech would use free speech as the very device to brainwash a society? Today, we witness that those wishing to manipulate a people around a specific agenda have succeeded. It is now complete. The controlling elite have won. Once the press was free and was a reflection of local community issues and concerns. Today, the press is under complete control. Those who once entered college to accomplish their major in journalism with all good intentions now sit behind an anchor desk with every word scripted from above or behind the scenes. Chris Hedges describes this thoroughly in his book, Empire of Illusion. The most irrigorous lie is the pretense that these people function as reporters, that they actually report on our behalf. It is not one or two reporters or television hosts who are corrupt. The media institutions are corrupt. Many media workers, especially those based in Washington, work shamelessly for our elites. The role of couriers is to parrot official propaganda. The corporations, in return, employ them and promote them as celebrities. He writes further, quote, being courtier requires agility and eloquence. The most talented of them should be credited as persuasive actors. They entertain us. They make us feel good. They persuade us. They are our friends. It's so small, it could get any smaller. They are friends. They are smiley faces of corporate state that has hijacked the government, end quote. Take the four major media markets, for example. With all the information going on in the world, How is it possible that each agency could scrutinize their message so that it was exactly the same, not only on occasion, but constantly, repetitively? Listen to what Jaquez Elul, an expert in entire societies, an expert in propaganda, writes. Opinion cannot form itself in entire societies unless mass media of communication exists. This much is evident. Without the mass media, there could be no modern propaganda. To make the organization of propaganda possible, the media must be concentrated, the number of news agencies reduced, the press brought under single control, and radio and film monopolies established. End quote. Is this a far-fetched premise? Bestseller author and leadership expert Orrin Woodward writes in his Guinness Book Record book, And Justice for All, interestingly, though, controlling the political parties, media resources, and educational institutions, the state with its cronies has poured out copious amounts of monetary misinformation into society. The reason, of course, is to thoroughly confuse the exploited masses while discrediting those who detect the deceit. End quote. John W. Whitehead, one of the leading constitutional attorneys in America and author of several books, describes how behavior manipulation happens. He paraphrases behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner's from his book, Beyond Freedom and Dignity. Quote, under the type of system evolving in the United States, the entire population eventually becomes a slave population. By means of positive control, the people become slaves without knowing it. The real threat to freedom is a system of slavery so well designed that it does not breed revolt. A system which does not breed revolt will be a state that is a master of manipulation to give the people choices, thereby maintaining an appearance of freedom. The choices presented to the people, however, are totally dictated by the state and its appendage, the media. End quote. In other words, a rat in a maze does not possess choices, only alternatives. One of the key components in making it possible for the so-called free press to be able to steam its propaganda into a society is to dumb down the people's knowledge about its history. This has already taken place as the revisionists have manipulated our school curriculums to names and dates, most of them irrelevant. Without a working knowledge of the thinking that led us to be a free society, we are put in a position where we can be manipulated. An example is a period in history that led to the American Revolution and the writing of the Declaration of Independence called the Great Awakening. During the early 1700s, sermons became more than sermons. That was how communities spread the news of their time. People would gather around the church pulpit. Sermons were heard by thousands of people as preachers such as George Whitefield preached from the courthouse steps. Pamphlets were then published and were read by the thousands. Edition after edition were published and scattered throughout the country. These messages stimulated a spirit of questioning and discussions throughout the colonies. John W. Whitehead writes, quote, the Great Awakening also made it respectful to use terms like liberty, virtue, tyranny, and public discussion. In those days, the clergy actually became stronger in their outspokenness against oppressive government. Very similar to those who responded to the oppression of freedom during the 1700s, a new message must spread today. These messages must be free from the manipulators that control the free press. A grassroots system from a community using a system of a shelf-directed education must sprout up across the country using the technology available to us. The first step is to completely unplug from mass media today. Simply stated, turn off the noise. Initially, you might feel that you are missing something, but you'll ultimately recognize that you're not missing a thing. With new information, you'll sense a difference in your attitude. There will be a release. A feeling of freedom that will come when you recognize that you have the freedom to think for yourself about your own agenda. Replace it with a positive message. For example, replace it with something like the messages that could be heard from the life subscriptions in the areas of personal, financial, and corporate messaging. As Nobel economist Frederick Hayek wrote, Quote, corrosion is evil precisely because it thus eliminates an individual as a thinking and valuing person and makes him a bare tool in the achievement of the ends of another. Free action, in which a person pursues his own aims by the means indicated by his own knowledge, must be based on data which cannot be shaped at all by another. End quote. It's time to turn off the free press and regain our freedom. God bless. George Gazzardo. Woo! Fired up. Before I go into quote for the day, I'm sorry, Mr. Ali is having an issue getting on. I'll probably talk to you after I, complete the show, send it off. I'm going to send you the pre-recorded as of now. It's almost over with. So, I do apologize for anything that I did not mention. If you have any questions about getting on the Spreaker app, I have a Facebook video on the Didisky Diane page that clearly states how to get on Spreaker. It's off the Boss Team fan page. So look that up. You can catch those tracks that I played Thirsty Thursday on the Magix app under Didisky Diane, DJ Disky Diane, because radio DJ also. And then I got some people that's coming tomorrow night. So let me hurry up and announce them and we can get on up out of here. Then I'm going to see if we can get Mr. Mason back on. We got a show coming up on Saturday, 9 o'clock. And we got a Sunday special as a guest, 6 o'clock. So make sure you tune in to those shows this upcoming few days. All right? But my thing is this with all this sex sales and stuff like that. Is this right here. My first point is this. Women and men, especially women, should seek high self-esteem in themselves instead of letting TV ads or magazines determine how one should look. If I wear makeup, I don't wear makeup. If I wear it just to enhance or look professional, whatever. But it's a time and place for everything. And I think this image stuff is just overrated. Everybody ain't natural no more. Ain't nothing natural about nobody. You don't know if you're touching a piece of plastic or a piece of steel. You don't know what you're doing. And I used to be in LA. And image was everything. Being in Atlanta is about having the best bag. It's like, man, who are you behind all that? At the end of the day, you be you. What happens when you be you? My second point. Tummy tucks, butt jobs, nose jobs, boob jobs, etc. is not going to make you look like a model you saw in a magazine. You will never measure up unless you value yourself first. And high achievers like themselves. So, on that note, quote for the day. For my high achievers. Mark Page at Mark Page says, money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. And Ren. Mark Page at Mark Page says, if you want your finances to change, you're going to need to change something about your finances. Chris Brady. Chris Brady at Rascal Tweet says, meet people where they are, but help them to become the best they can be. And last but not least, don't be afraid of losing. Be afraid of playing a game and not learning something. Dan Heisman. And bonus one, Brian Vashis at B Vashis. God's capacity to give is unlimited except for our capacity to receive. And that is your announcements and quotes for the day.